Hello everyone and welcome back to Tier 11 to the top here on Anderzbaz FM. And since last episode, the heartbreak of the FA Cup, it's been a busy 50 days. So here we are, this was what happened last time, that 4-0 defeat away at Woking. Crushed our FA Cup dreams, but the first round was a fantastic achievement. But what that did was allow us to focus back on the league and the FA Vase, which we'll get to in a second. But with that focus on the league and finally catching up with our games in hand, let's have a look how we fared and whether we've closed the gap to the top. So from that Woking game, you can see we've got a massive amount of fixtures in that 50 days. We started out with an away trip to Shawbury, which was a relatively straightforward 3-0 victory. Definitely helped by the fact that they went down to 10 men after 3 minutes. Louis Potts with a brace. Comfortable 3-0 victory. Similar story at home to Highgate 4 days later. Another comfortable 3-0 victory, another man sent off, but by the time that Highgate went down to 10 men, we were already 3 up, and it was Riley O'Sullivan this time who got the 2-goal brace. Next time out against South Normanton, who are challenging at the top of the table. We went down 1-0 in the first half, and it took a late equaliser from substitute Kieran Feeney to scrape a point. And it was a very hard fight to get that point, and we were beginning to feel the effects of fixture congestion already. Then we travelled to Loughborough on the 23rd of November. Comfortable 1-0 victory. Kieran Feeney again with a goal. He'd earned himself a start after the late heroics against South Normanton. And Loughborough were quite an easy pushover in the end. We'll come to this FA Vase fixture in a second. But in the league, we continued into December with a home game against Atherstone. Now we faced the Adders, and it was quite a comfortable 3-0 victory in the end. Louis Potts got the first, and then O'Sullivan got one either side of half-time. And that was quite an easy victory. You'll notice here that 10 days later we faced Atherstone again, but before that we had a tough 1-1 draw against Walsall Wood. We should have really been much better than them, and it was a late penalty that got them the point, and we just couldn't get a breakthrough after that 71st minute penalty. It's a disappointing result, but when you see how many games we played in quick succession, there's no real surprise that we began to stumble a little bit. Then it was a massive 5-2 victory against Tividale away from home. Not much to say here. Everyone got on the goals, and it was comfortable. I mean, they got two goals to at 4-0. They got a couple back, but by that point it was beyond a doubt. And then the aforementioned return trip to Atherstone. So we played them twice in 10 days. First game with 3-0, and then they just absolutely blitzed us. 3 first half goals, 2 more in the second half. We got a man sent off. Fasalo got himself double yellow carded once again. And it was a late consolation from Louis Potts. And at 5-1, we were completely shell-shocked. I mean, the 3-0 victory in the first game against them was this completely different side. But that didn't slow us down much in the league. We went 3 days later, we carried on our away trip, 3 away games in a row against Long Eaton. And this was another one where we were 3-0 up and just conceded 2 late goals again. Left us a little bit tense in the final few minutes, but eventually it was 3-2. Everything fine. Then we faced Lye, who are down in the relegation battle. We had a man sent off early. Lucas de Bol got himself sent off inside half an hour. They got a pretty late first goal, and it took a 92nd minute equaliser from Daniel Pike of all people from a free kick to just scrape a point. We were really kind of staggering as we'd caught up in our games in hand, and that final game in hand was against Hoffmond, who obviously we played on the opening day of the season and defeated. It was another good victory here, 3-1. We went 2-0 up, they got one back, and then Feeney, who has been on a great vein of form over the last month and a half, got his second off the bench to 3-1 victors. So one game we did skip was the FA Vase third round against Chester Street, who incidentally is the new home of Ryan Salmon, but he was an unused substitute. So what we'll do is we'll watch the goals for this fixture and talk about how we basically threw away a victory over a side from a lower division. This was really opening up the FA Vase. It was really opening up for us to get to the final. I mean, it was a competition I really wanted to win, but as you'll see here, we just came out with a bit of a whimper. Chester Street got the first goal just before half-time, a lovely header at the back post. But after the second half, we came into our own and we pretty much played them off the park. De Boll here with the ball into Feeney, and Feeney, bottom corner. That was the equaliser at the hour mark. And a few minutes later, similar story again. So the ball over the top to Potts was poorly defended, and he hits it into the top corner, 2-1, and we were looking pretty. But, again, 5 minutes after that, a little lax defending allowed Chester Street in, ball into the front post, and Chikoba puts it high above the keeper. Nothing he could do about it. And then we were just about easing our way to a draw. A poor headed clearance. And just like that, we were out. A 91st minute winner for Chester Street. And we had, I think, 4 or 5 more minutes of added time. But we just couldn't get the breakthrough in the end. We'd played ourselves out, ready for the draw, ready to go for a replay back home. And we just got caught on the break. Poor defending. Lost 3-2. So that's us out of both cup competitions. But as I've said, since that point, we have been focusing on the league, and we've played all our games in hand. We are now 24 games played, the same as those around us, and we are 6 points clear. And really, that's 6 points ahead of Coventry Sphinx in second, and a further 7 ahead of everyone else. So we are basically now into a 2-horse race with 18 games left to play. We are just over the halfway mark, but things are looking pretty. Our goal difference is phenomenal, really. We've got a bit of a leaky defence. We've conceded 27, but 5 of those against Atherstone. But yeah, we are scoring for fun. And speaking of scoring for fun, you'll see here Louis Potts and Riley O'Sullivan both on 17 league goals apiece. The record league goals in a season for Mansfield Hosiery Mills is 19, so both players are well on course to beat that record and really smash to new heights. And speaking of, Louis Potts has got 31 in total for the season, which is already our most goals in any competition in a single season. And you can see from his average rating here, still massive, still very close to that 8 rating overall. In fact, we've got quite a few players who are in the green here, over 7. One thing that I didn't mention last time out was Cameron Lynn, who once again suffered an injury to his hip. If we look at the history though, it's the opposite hip to the one he injured and was out for 4 months last season. So he missed a total of 8 months in the last season, and then he's out again. So since that really strong first season with us, he's just been suffering from injury after injury. So he's expected to be out for 4, maybe 5 months this time round with the hip injury, and that was suffered in the second round of the FA Vase. So it was definitely before the last episode, maybe before the one before that. It's just slipped my mind to mention it. But if we go back to the schedule, let's have a quick look at what we are doing in today's episode. It's obviously the top of the table clash away at Coventry Sphinx here on Boxing Day, and we're going to hopefully follow that up with the away fixture at Hinckley on New Year's Day. So that will be the second and third games in the triple away game streak here. Then we finally return home against Racing Club Warwick as we get into the meat of January. And what we're going to do is, all being well, we'll probably come back sort of late March time, maybe after we've played the second game against Coventry Sphinx, and see how close we are to wrapping up the title. I'd hope to have it sort of confirmed maybe around this Redditch game here at the beginning of April, so maybe we'll focus on these 2 games. That's depending on how today's games go, obviously, and how we go in the run-in here. It might be a case of dropping in a little earlier than that, just to catch up on how things are going. So here is the lineup for today's game against Coventry Sphinx. It's the same 3-5-2 formation, and a pretty regular lineup you'll see here. This is the usual suspects. So Collins in goal, back three of Lynch, Walmsley and Thomas, a midfield of Vassallo, Cotter, Sesse, Gibbon and Binns. Obviously De Ball is suspended, and then up front Potts and the in-form Feeney, with O'Sullivan suffering still from an injury. He's not quite up to full fitness, so we're keeping him out of the lineup for today. But hopefully we've got enough strength going forward that will not be an issue, and with a win today we could be 9 points clear. Join us again in a second. It's been a quiet start to the game so far, but we are 22 minutes in now, and a throw-in on this near side from Sphinx. It was nearly won by Binns, but they are advancing down their left flank. Binns has got back to help out with the defence. Let's push the ball back, but it's a ball over the top and it's nodded down. Ford has advanced into the box, ball into the middle, and that's first goal for Aaron Wint. Coventry Sphinx are ahead. Wow, they showed I thought their form was pretty good so far this season, and that is evidence of that. So Ford gets his 15th goal. Not sure if that's 15 in the league or 15 in total, but in the bottom corner, Collins couldn't do anywhere, and he was not very happy. But we're straight back into things with an immediate highlight of our own, working it through the defence. Lynch finds Vassallo on the left-hand flank, back inside to Lynch. Ball up top, but it's dealt with. It was a poor ball. Cotter couldn't get there. We are on the defensive again, and Downs has broken through. And it's a fantastic save by Collins. I thought we were going to give away a free kick there, but in fact I think he might have been offside. Here we are again on that far side. We are not looking as strong as I was expecting. I mean, maybe we can blame a little bit of fixture congestion fatigue, but we should be out of the back end of that now as Gibbon advances. He gets dispossessed. Sphinx are looking to break through again. We've got men back, but they are opening us up. There's plenty of men in the box, and a lovely save by Collins. Thought we were going to be dropping down to 2-0 already. So 25 minutes gone. Collins with a big kick up front, finds the head of Potts, who nods it down to Feeney. Feeney breaks into the box, but the shot is deflected, and it's cleared away. Danger averted for Sphinx, and they're on the break once again. It's end-to-end stuff, and Downs is through into the box. Collins is the only one to beat, and he's beaten him. And that's 2-0. What a poor 5 minutes. Wow. This is not the start we were looking for. We need to turn this around. Here you go with end-to-end, end-to-end. We needed to bring the ball down and calm things down, but Downs has broken through. Collins couldn't quite do anything about it. I mean, his effort wasn't the best, but by the point we got to him, I don't think we could blame him for the goal there. Here we are again, another highlight. Vassallo with the throw-in inside to Sesse. He's gone all the way back to Lynch. His ball over the top finds Potts, who's free, and he buries it home. That's one back, and you should never doubt Louis Potts as he advances on goal. Goalkeeper had no chance, and that was pretty much a goal from nothing. Lynch's ball over the top is a hopeful one. The defender misses it. Potts hunts it down, buries it home. I think he would have taken the keeper with him if he'd given the opportunity. But 2-1, and my shout of show some passion actually kicks in after the goal. So maybe we can finish this first half in fine form and get a goal back. 5 minutes to go, and it's looking like it's going to end the half 2-1. Indeed it has. So that is the end of the first half. 2-1. We are still obviously clear at the top. Not the first half we were hoping for, but we've come back into things, and hopefully after the break we will be the better side. So here we are, 10 minutes into the second half, throwing down the left hand side. Vassallo puts the ball into the box, and it's far too close to the goalkeeper, who comes out and claims it. The highlight continues. Chamberlain with a kick up front, but it's not dealt with. Oh, a lovely fortuitous fall there, and Sphinx are on the attack, but the shot is a wasteful one, just wide of the post. Collins had it covered, but that is still 2-1 as we reach the hour mark. We've got another throw in here down the left-hand side. All of the action seems to be down our left flank. Potts, some reason, taking the throw in there. But Sesse, lovely ball over the top. Feeney is trying to break through the defence. He can't quite get past the defender. And it's dealt with again. And I'm slightly fearful. Every time Sphinx seem to have the ball, they get themselves in a dangerous position. And they're working it through the back now. But Binns is intercepted. Lovely interception by Binns. We've got the break. If he can find someone in the box, he cannot find anyone in the box. But Vassallo gets a second chance and puts it at the back post of Binns. and it's well saved. So that is another chance gone, and the highlight continues actually. So let's see what Sphinx do here, whether they kick it high. Yep, they do. A long ball over the top and finds Ford, who looks to get past the defender. Is that Lynch on the back post there? And Wint has got a second. Collins dealt with the initial chance, but the save just parried it straight into the feet of the striker. And that's 3-1. So Ford's ball over the top here. Man free on the back post. It's not him who scores, it's 3-1. We're going to have to make some changes now. An hour gone, and we really could do with not losing this game. So our options on the bench are pretty slim. So we've not got a centre back to bring on into our back three. So Paul Jarvis is going to have to step in. Put him as on the left side of the three. And Dan Lowther's coming in midfield. We've got no options to go up top, and the rest of our midfield options are a little bit slim. We've got Matti Lapainen on the bench, the youngster, because we're running out of options. He could, in theory, go up front, but I'm not sure I trust him over the two strikers we've got on the pitch at the moment. But with half an hour to go, an hour gone, it's 3-1 to Sphinx. We go 72 minutes in. It's a goal kick to the home side. Chamberlain's ball over the top is dealt with by Bins, who's passes Sese with a lovely pass into Potts, who, again, you don't doubt Potts. As soon as he gets the ball and advances on the goal, you can be sure that it's going to be on target and we'll need a save from the goalkeeper. That is 3-2. We still are in this game. Lovely first time ball from Sese. Potts gets on the end of it. Few touches inside the box. Keeper is left looking behind him at the ball in the back of the net. 3-2. 15 minutes to go. And, well, I say we're back in the game and then nothing happens for the last 17 minutes. Not a single highlight, and, well, this is not how I was expecting to start this episode, I'll be honest. I was expecting us to cruise to a victory here, but we're still feeling the effects of so many games over the last few weeks that we just could not do anything to deal with the Coventry Sphinx. They just kept catching us on the break. Maybe we were playing too attacking. I mean, it's potentially we were playing too attacking. We were. But yeah, we were just caught too many times, caught on the break. That sends us back to the drawing board. Next fixture is against Hinckley, who are mid-table, down in 12th, so hopefully that should be a winnable fixture. But the gap at the top is down to 3 points. Yeah, right. Join us again in a second as we take on Hinckley. So here we are then, away at Hinckley on New Year's Day. And we made a couple of changes to the lineup. So first up, we've got Pike returning to the defence ahead of Lynch. Lowther has been brought into the midfield in place of Cotter, and up front O'Sullivan is back from his little injury to replace Feeney. Hopefully that means we'll have a bit more going forward and we won't drop any more points. Been a slow start to the half so far, but 16 minutes in, Hinckley have a throw-in and on that far side, and it's absolutely tipping it down here today. Lowther with the ball into the box. Potts can't quite get there, but Vassallo has caught the rebound. O'Sullivan in the centre, heads it just over the bar. That was a good early chance, but we need to do better than that if we're going to get more than 1 point today, and we go straight back into another highlight. Thomas with the throw-in into O'Sullivan, who gets it back to Sese. Binns is now on the edge of the box. A lovely ball, lovely shot rather, and it's just crept wide of the post. Still 0-0, 25 minutes gone now. Here we are again. Binns with a throw-in into O'Sullivan, but the ball is cleared. And Hinckley are on the break. Hopefully we are a bit more sound in defence than we were last time out against Sphinx. But Hinckley still have it down this near side. Ball over the top is missed. Poor defending, but it's dealt with handily by Collins. Sarpong couldn't get a good enough shot away, and there was no one in the middle for him to pass the ball through to. As we get to half-time, it's been another pretty disappointing performance so far. And yet half-time, 0-0. Luckily, Coventry Sphinx are also being held to a 0-0 draw at Lye, who are now up to 9th, actually. They've been on a great vein of form recently. But yep, that is not the game we're in today. We're against Hinckley, and we need a better second half. So we're already an hour gone, and we're making substitutions before we've even had a first highlight of this second half. Lynch, Cotter and Feeney are all on for the booked Walmsley, Gibbon and Potts, who has really struggled today. So hopefully Feeney and O'Sullivan can provide that decisive finishing going forward, as we really could do with a goal. 18 shots to their 7, but we are 67 minutes in and still nothing. So Sesse with the free kick down on this near side. Ball into the box, gets to the back post, and Binns is there, heads it over. And we've just seen that Coventry Sphinx have gone up in their game, so the gap at the top now is just 1 point. To say we started the episode today at 6 points clear, to go to a point where we are only 1 ahead will be a kick in the teeth. But here we are. Feeney finds the ball back to Lynch, and a ball over the top. Can't quite find O'Sullivan. But Lynch has it again, and Cotter. And Cotter's ball over the top can find Feeney, and Feeney breaks and shoots and scores. A late goal once again by Kieran Feeney. 87th minute, and that's put us 1-0 up. And I think, to be honest, we are going to shut everything down as soon as this replay has finished. Lynch with a header again, finds Cotter, whose lovely first-time ball finds Feeney over the defence. And the keeper should have done better, but didn't. And that is 1-0 to Hosiery Mills. Going to go very defensive and time waste until we have no time left. 3 minutes of added time, but hopefully we don't use any of them. No highlights. Good. Full time. There we go. 1-0 victors. And if we look further down, we'll see that Sphinx held on. They went 2-0 up to 10 men lie, and despite their late goal, held on to victory. It's 3 points clear at the top now. 2 games played today, 1 loss, 1 very narrow victory. Truthfully, 2 pretty poor performances. Not the way we wanted to kick this new year off, but we got the 3 points in the end, and that will just about do it. So 3 points at the top. 16 games left to play, so there's a lot of football left to happen this season. I think it's going to end up being a 2-horse race. South Normanton and Atherstone are a bit too far back to really feature, especially if the form of Hosiery Mills and Sphinx continue as it has. But we'll find out in the next episode, because today that is all we have time for. Thank you so much for watching this far. If you've enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, please let me know in the comments below on your thoughts today, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much once again. I've been Anderzbaz, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.